Ooh. Call this meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. I want to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory and that the land on which we are meeting is the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. As a council and a municipality, we will continue to work on moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. I'll ask for an motion for the adoption of the minutes, please.
Resolve that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held at City Hall on May 27th, 2024 be adopted as circulated.
Moved by Councillor Espy, seconded by Councillor Nichols. All those in favor? And that is carried. We have no delegations this evening and no public hearings. We'll move right into Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Worship. Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee has no report this evening.
Thank you. City Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Worship. City Planning and Economic Development Committee has nothing to report until new business later on.
Thank you. Community Services Committee, Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Worship. The Community Services Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. Waterworks Committee, Councillor Nichols.
Thank you, Worship. Waterworks Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. Transportation Committee, Councillor Porter.
Thank you, Your Worship. Transportation has nothing to report.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Councillor Doyle.
Thank you, Your Worship. Public Safety Committee has nothing to report in this portion of the meeting.
Thank you. We have no deferred business. We'll move right into new business. We have the creation of a vacant and derelict building committee, Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee, Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Worship and colleagues. This evening we're going to look at the creation of a vacant and derelict building committee. As you know, we'll be dealing with this later on in the meeting, the actual bylaw. So the issue here is to approve the mid-year creation of a vacant and derelict building committee. As you know, Council appoints committee members annually at their organizational meeting each November. A new vacant and derelict building bylaw is set to receive second and third readings on June the 10th, that's this evening. This bylaw includes the ability to appeal decisions to a committee of council. It's been decided to appoint the following members of council to this committee: the chair of the Public Safety Committee, the chair of the Transportation Committee, and the chair of the Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee. The administrative recommendation is, and I would move that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the appointment of the Public Safety, Transportation and Finance, and Legislative and Property Committee chairs to the new vacant and derelict building committee.
Moved by Councillor Massey, seconded by Councillor Meyer. Is there any questions or comments on this? All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Next item of new business is the first reading of bylaw 24-8765, zoning amendment PC 24-24, Meadowland Homes Limited, 2nd Street Northwest. It's City Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Your Worship. And Council, in front of you, we have an application for rezoning, which could get through first reading tonight. This is based on, here's a second. The applicant had originally received conditional approval for a subdivision, which was number 4550-238278, with the new condition that the property be rezoned from R1 to R2 to allow for the construction of the two new duplexes. For your information, there was a sketch and a schedule showed exactly the location and a copy of the proposed bylaw. So tonight, what we're looking to do is we're looking for first reading, and then once the first reading takes place, it will be advertised and forwarded to the province for review and any further comments as well. The application had been circulated to various city departments. There had been no concerns. And just backing up on the report a little bit, the development plan states the following, which this does fill it in too. So as per Section 74.1 of the Planning Act, Council shall indicate its intention to enact a zoning bylaw amendment by giving first reading and proceed with public notice as set out in Section 168. The first reading of bylaw number 24-8765 will commence the process as defined in the Planning Act in considering this application and just following it through. So with that said, it's the administrative recommendation, and I so move, that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie give bylaw number 248765 first reading, and that public notice be provided as defined in Section 168 of the Planning Act.
Moved by Councillor Meyer, seconded by Councillor Nichols. Is there any questions or comments on this? See nothing. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Next item of new business is our Regional Economic Development Strategy, City Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I'm going to, at this point in time, turn it over to our Economic Development Officer, Ms. Eva Leary, and she's going to actually do some high points on the strategy. So, Ms. O'Leary.
Thank you, Councillor Meyer, and good evening, Your Worship and Council. I'm very excited to be here finally to present our Regional Economic Development Strategy, a plan over the next 10 years. So before we get into the high-level strategies, just some notes to Council. That is a 10-year strategy and that it's been in the works for about 18 months. And this strategy has been developed in collaboration with the economic development stakeholders in our region. It's important to note that today I am only presenting a summary document, and we do have a very long 100-page comprehensive document which we'll be publishing on our website just to ensure transparency and accessibility to all our stakeholders. It's crucial to understand that this strategy is not a one-time document, but a pathway that we're going to be actioning step by step and year after year. It's going to be a guiding document for PRED, our leaders and community, and most importantly, it's built upon being methodical and planned out to build an environment for success, a strategy that is guided with 4 key areas and key performance indicators to ensure that we're actually measuring the success. This plan represents a cohesive regional effort in involving numerous stakeholders, community members, businesses, industries, and a wide variety of sectors. This plan builds upon and has also taken into account the strategic plans from our community leaders and the wonderful and many feasibility studies done by many of the organizations in our community. So continuing to grow that path for the next 10 years in terms of economic development. This plan increases opportunities to support our already existing businesses, attract new residents and investment, and ultimately enhances the quality of life for our residents. This strategy serves as a blueprint for sustainable development, guiding our actions and initiatives over the coming decade. At a very high level, we'll just move to the next one, Carly. Thank you. And again, sorry. Yeah, perfect. So just looking at collaborative prosperity, this focus area is to continue and grow the already successful regional economic development framework that we have in place, and focusing on emphasizing the collaborations amongst the stakeholders to drive growth and innovation. And that's really what the economic development function is about. We're also going to focus on elevating Portage la Prairie, focus on business engagement, investment attraction, workforce development, with the goal of creating a dynamic business environment that fosters economic growth for everyone. The third area is reimagining Portage, so really discovering what our assets are, promoting our economic development assets through promotion of our downtown core, and then enhancing the community impressions, and that's to really focus on vibrant community economic hubs across the region. And the final area is that this is empowering progress, and this area is focused on enhancing and promoting the quality of life within our community, which is certainly very important when it comes to economic development. So looking at things like socioeconomics for housing, promoting the quality of life, resident attraction, and then the promotion of overall well-being in our community. I will say that this strategy, it's not a static document, and it's a product of extensive community engagement and collaboration. Strategic teams such as regional collaboration, inclusivity, and long-term investment also aligns with this council's strategic plan, but also through collective action can drive economic development in our region. So by leveraging our strengths and addressing our challenges head on, we can build a stronger, more resilient community for generations to come. As we move forward through with the implementation of this strategy, we recognize the importance of being flexible and adaptable. Economic development is certainly an ongoing process, and our approach must evolve to the changing needs and demands of our community. So each year we will use this document to guide our budgets, develop tactical plans, and measure the progress towards our goals. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the Portage Economic Response Team and Dale and Colleen from EDCD Consulting for the success on this project. And we look forward to presenting to Council in 2025 with our 1-year update report. I will take any questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Councillor Porter?
I don't have any questions. I just have a comment. And Eve, I think it's a great document. It's worthwhile spending the time reading it. I love the grounded values you have down there, and I read under the values. I'm really drawn to number 6, which is the economic development strategy is a living document that should be reviewed and updated over time to adapt to changes in the marketplace. A system should be set into place for reporting implementation, progress back to the community on a regular basis. As well as, like I said, number 7, there are no silver bullets that solve the community challenges. Addressing the community's challenges take a coordinated, multi-pronged approach. And finally, the one I was well drawn to, it was number 10, economic development is a marathon, not a sprint. Implementing recommendations will require long-term community investments and continued momentum and patience for years to come. And and I guess this is why we're looking ahead in the next 10 years, because 10 years actually goes quite fast. So, yeah, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you, Councillor Porter.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Councillor Massey?
Thank you, Worship. To Ms. O'Leary, thank you for the presentation. I was really pleased when you said that this dovetails very nice into this council's strategic plan, which I firmly believe in. It's a great strategic plan. My question is, what would you say council needs to focus on in the next while? Where are the gaps to help you meet your targets in some of this economic strategy? What can you give council some advice of where you think we maybe should focus, or where we're maybe could beef up what we need to do as a council?
Thank you, Councillor Massey. I believe having a strategic plan as a council is definitely a first step to promoting a great environment to live. I don't have any recommendations. This council is very supportive of our department and economic development, very intertwined in terms of the makeup of our board. I don't have any recommendations, but we will definitely think of something. I know we're very intertwined in a lot of the committees with council, so appreciate the question and sorry for the vague answer.
Councillor Meyer?
Thank you, Your Worship. And again, no questions. I'm familiar with the report, and Eva Ms. O'Leary, I wanted to thank you for presenting it. I think we know as council, it's no surprise the economic investment that we've had within our community. And as chair of the economic development, chair of economic development, I am so pleased to see that we've put a document in place that gives us some guiding principles that dovetails, as Councillor Massey was saying, quite thoroughly within our strategic plan as well. It is a long-term plan. I know it's just in draft stage right now, but it is a living document, and I think it's something that we're going to be able to use in addition to future councils to be able to guide us forward in exactly the way we need to go with economic development. So understanding there's always challenges along the way, but I do know the amount of work and effort that went into this report, and I am so pleased to be able to see it finally come out after, as they say, specifically an 18-month period. So congratulations again on that, Eve, and I think it's very well done.
Thank you, Councillor Meyer. And if I might add just to Councillor Massey what I had the opportunity to think, one thing I would say to this council is to continue promoting the collaboration approach. Certainly it's something we've seen with other communities as we hosted EDAM last week, that we're certainly taking the charge in terms of providing a unique concierge service. So continuing that collaboration is certainly something that I would recommend.
Thank you. Just a couple comments, Ms. O'Leary, is I just want to commend you and the facilitators on this process. I really appreciate the gathering of information and the stakeholders, and I feel that, you know, they worked at hitting all the marks on that, and I think that that's important to get a cross section from our whole community on the economic development. What I really like to see in here and talk about is just something that I know I ran on when I ran in the last election was, you know, we've over the years we've talked about focusing on our big industry, which has been of course a success for us, but also, you know, we have to find ways to help expand and support our small business, medium businesses for growth in our community, because they are the heartbeat of our community as well. And so I like that this plan really talks about that. So I just think it's well done and look forward to the year update. Thank you. Nothing else? Okay, thank you. We have one item of old business. We have second and third reading of vacant and derelict building bylaw 24-8761. Public Safety Committee, Councillor Doyle.
Thank you, Your Worship. And you said it there. The issue at hand this evening is to give the second and third reading to implement the new vacant and derelict building bylaw number 24-8761 for the city of Portage la Prairie. So the issue at hand is to whether or not to approve or deny the proposed bylaw. So this bylaw was created, as we spoke about a couple of weeks ago at our last meeting, to address the issues with the owners of boarded and derelict properties that pose several social, health, and financial risks to our communities and decrease the value of other properties in the surrounding neighborhood. So this bylaw provides the city of Portage la Prairie with legal recourse to enforce and collect fees associated with ensuring the safety and compliance of buildings within our city. The bylaw proposes timelines, registration requirements, and maintenance standards which adhere to Part 7, Division 2, Sections 231, 232, 233 of the Municipal Act. So to pass this bylaw concerning the additions and maintenance of vacant residential and commercial buildings is what we're going to be doing tonight. So it is the administrative recommendation, and I would move that the vacant and derelict building bylaw number 24-8761 be given its second reading.
Moved by Councillor Doyle, seconded by Councillor Massey. Any questions or comments on this? Councillor Porter?
I just like to make a couple comments that I'll be supporting the administration recommendation, and for the following reasons. One, public safety. There could be structural deterioration. The buildings could collapse. Two, crime prevention. These vacant lots and derelict buildings, are a haven for criminal activity. Urban decay. It negatively impacts our neighborhoods and decreases property values. 4, there's health concerns. It's a breeding ground for pests and a very big health hazard. 5, it reduces what's the economic impact. It reduces the attractiveness for further growth. And 6, environmental impacts such as contamination from hazardous materials left behind. So I'm very excited to support this recommendation, and that's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank
Your
you.
Worship.
Thank you. Following our last meeting and after our first reading, I put a call out on social media just saying if anybody had any questions or comments on this, and asked how they felt about, you know, derelict properties. And I received one email and 2 different messages of people who live in a neighborhood with a derelict property, and that just positive comments about that they were pleased to see our municipality and our city doing something about it. They, you know, they're they're waiting with bated breath to see how effective this is, which I get because they've been dealing with it for a long time. But um, I'm glad to see this go through, and I'll absolutely be supporting this tonight. Nothing else? All those in favor? That's carried. Councillor Doyle?
Thank you, Your Worship. And I would move that vacant and derelict building bylaw number 24-8761 be read a third time, finally passed, signed, and sealed.
Moved by Councillor Doyle, seconded by Councillor Massey. All those in favor? And that is carried. We will adjourn council at 6:21 p.m. and move right into committee. We'll call committee to order at 6:21 p.m. Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee, Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Your Worship. Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee has no report for committee this evening.
Thank you. City Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Your Worship. City Planning and Economic Development Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. Community Services Committee, Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. I do have a few things tonight, and let's start with our Communities in Bloom presentation.
Thank you. If you wanted to come to the mic and state your name for the record, please.
My name is Kathy McFarlane. I'm the chair of Communities in Bloom for the city of Portage la Prairie, and I'm here tonight with Yvette Cuthbert, and she is also a member of the committee. We have a small committee. Rochelle Sissons is our administrative support, and it's under the auspices of PCRC. She was hoping to be here tonight, but unfortunately a family obligation came up, and she's given me her notes to read out. The other two people who are members of our committee are Verna McDermott and Lynn White.
Welcome.
So, thank you. So it will not be a long presentation from our perspective. It's really to update you. Communities in Bloom is not a new program to the city. And as you recall, last year we were very excited to get the coveted 5 blooms for our city. So not being competitive or anything, but we're always looking at increasing the presence we have in the community, and we'll talk about some of those efforts tonight. The first one is, and I'm going to read what Rochelle said because Rochelle's been the spearhead for this. She applied for this program, and we were successful in being selected in Manitoba. There's only about 8 different communities in Manitoba who were chosen to participate in this community with Scott's Miracle Grow. And the closest ones to our community would be Brandon, comparable size community, Dauphin, and then slightly smaller Stonewall. So we're very proud that we were accepted to be part of this committee, or this program, I should say. Okay, so here we go. Our community has been selected to participate in the 2024 Miracle Grow Best Garden Selection Program from Scott's Canada. Starting on July the 12th, the Communities in Bloom Committee will be choosing 2 winners each week until August the 16th. Each winner will receive Miracle Grow products, and any of you who garden will value those products. They always seem to add a little burst, especially to your plants. And there will be a sign, and there's a sign there, and Scott's is actually personalizing it for each of the communities chosen. So at the bottom, but not stuck in the ground, will be an area for the city of Portage la Prairie's logo in there. It's available for residential and commercial properties, and you will be able to submit a photo on Facebook or directly to Rochelle Sissons at PCRC. There's additional information coming out, and there will be information posted on social media, and there will be posters all over town explaining to people about this, because we really want people to get behind this program. I'm going to turn it over to Yvette for the next piece.
Hi. I got involved with Communities in Bloom 2 years ago when we were doing a national one. And they said we needed to have a profile book. And I said, okay, well, let me have your old one and I'll update it. And they said, we don't have one. So, so I created, I think it was about a 40-page booklet. And in doing the research for that, I looked at many of the profiles across the nation that had also been in it. And I found it quite interesting about the different things that other communities have, and we could learn from some of them as well. But these are their 6 evaluation points: community appearance, environmental action, heritage conservation, tree management, landscaped areas, plant and floral displays. So it's so much more than pretty flowers. Our recycling is really important. Our compost area is so important with its wood chips, and how we deal with our garbage. The pickup and the landfill and all those types of things. And our tree management. We had some the judges the first year that wondered if we had a tree inventory, because some do, and what our schedule was for pruning and for all types of things. And they were really impressed with how many arborists we had in our city.
Mm.
And I was too. Heritage conservation also is so important. And in our tour, we really tried to include the many aspects of community members that make a difference. The junkyard dogs, there's community gardens at the retirement place down there, the Republic Park. We really have a lot to be proud of in this city and a lot to show off. So before I made this booklet, I'd taken a lot of pictures because I'm quite proud of our city and what it offers. And it was great to even develop it more with these 6 categories. And so we'll probably do something similar. I will be updating it a bit, trying to take some pictures of our lovely Saskatchewan Avenue areas that have been fixed, what the junkyard dogs have managed to do to date, and and more recently, our little garden at the railway CPR station. But really, you think about all the things we have, and our island park is such a gem with our pollinator garden and our duck pond, and it just goes on and on. It's a wonderful little town. So we'll have a similar schedule as last year. We're not sure when the judges are going to come this year, July, beginning of August, but really looking forward to showing off our city again. Our other project that we're working on this year was added in early June. Follow-up from the Communities in Bloom, where they suggested, continuing community improvements, which I'm sure we will always do. And so the committee met with the Railway Museum to get approval. And just last week, the city helped move some gravel and got us some ties. And we gathered up a bunch of cardboard for weed barrier and got a bunch of dirt. And we've got some plants in there. And it'll make a lovely addition as well. So always working on it, and it looks great. And I know people here are out there helping with the duck pond and different things too. And it's great to see all the involvement we have. The Holiday Avenue bunch, and very good.
Thank you. Just, you have more, Kathy? Perfect.
Okay, the last thing we wanted to talk about is the Manitoba Communities in Bloom Conference. So this will be the 2nd year now that program has resurfaced. Yvette referred to the year that we participated in the national program. We like to participate in the provincial one because we feel we have comparable communities to compare ourselves to. It was really difficult when we were in the federal run. Again, not competitive. However, one of the communities we did compete with was someplace in Newfoundland that was right on the ocean. So we are pretty proud of our lake and our pond and everything else, but it's not an ocean. So now this is the 2nd year back, and this will be the 1st year that the Manitoba Communities in Bloom organization is having a conference, and Portage la Prairie was chosen and asked our committee if we would host the conference for 2024. We already know it will be a one-day conference on October the 19th, and we will be sending out an invitation to council. We will also be sending out invitations to all Manitoba municipalities, towns, and villages. It's taken a while for that program to resurface. As you know, COVID has changed a lot of us, and it's difficult for some communities to get volunteerism resurfaced within their community. People are still a little bit isolated at home, still a little bit cautious there. And so we're going to invite them all to the conference and remind them about this great program that, as Yvette said, it's not really just about flowers. It's about community spirit and working together. And the committee will be applying to the city for their hosting grant for that event. And we see it as a rebuilding of that whole program. And it only benefits us as a city when we can participate with other communities. So that's it for what's new in Communities in Bloom. If you have any questions or suggestions, we're always open to suggestions. Go ahead.
Councillor Porter?
I just have a question. What is environmental action?
Well, I'm going to let Yvette do that because she's the expert on that.
Well, environmental action is about the recycling and the composting and the wood chips and garbage and whatever. But I know also when we had the national judges out here, they were looking at what water was going into the Crescent, how we were dealing with that type of thing, and that we had a variety of trees in case, you know, one gets disease, that they don't all come down, and global warming, things to do with that. So like with the news, with the Saskatchewan Avenue, with what do they call them, the biofills or whatever that coming through, and how we're dealing with the wastewater, all those things would be environmental actions.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So it really is about a collective action, and a lot of people being, the more people being involved, in the more difference you're going to make.
Yeah.
That's getting together.
I think we do a great job in our community. This program highlights what we do in our community. We're, as Yvette said, we're pretty proud about what we do here. But we can always do one more thing. And the Rail Museum perennial bed is one more thing. Today we just installed a rain barrel there, trying to be environmentally sound. Plus, we don't have any ready access to water there either, but we're going to use that to water the perennial bed that we've just started there.
Oh, nice.
I know another thing the judges had said before, especially the national ones, was about community volunteerism. You know, like they'd like to see the schools involved, and schools do have cleanup days and, you know, planting flower beds and different things, but it's about the whole community working together.
Do I? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so it's really bringing awareness to the overall picture, the story of our city. And I just want to thank you guys for making our city beautiful, safe, and clean.
And by doing all this, it helps promote our city to the rest of the nation and anyone that might consider moving here, all the different things that we offer.
Love it. I do have a little tidbit for you that you may have noticed the new planters in front of City Hall, that there is a little project that's going to happen that'll fit right into what you're going to what you just talked about. So stay tuned. Happening later this week. Anything else? Anyone? Thank you. Appreciate the presentation. Okay. Councillor Espy.
Next up on the agenda is the PCRC Affordable Housing Update presentation from Dana Geisel.
Thank you. So I was forwarded this report from Mary. It's very brief, just giving a little update on what's been happening so far in terms of the Community Roots program and the affordable housing build. Starting with Community Roots, we've had 4 families successfully move into homes in the city of Portage, and another family has been approved for home ownership. But given the current housing market, it's taking a little bit longer than anticipated for them to be able to find a home to purchase. So that is ongoing at the present time. In terms of the affordable housing build, exterior construction has been completed for the 4 units, and interior work is being done at the present time. We had to decrease from 5 units to 4, just given the economic times. Material prices rose significantly between the proposal period and start of construction. And completion will take place over the next few months. Hydro hookup has been completed. Water and sewer hookup is set to be completed by toll construction in 2 weeks, depending on the weather and the rain, as the ground is really saturated, and I think it is becoming more saturated as we speak. Interior work is continuing by Carrington Homes, and landscaping and paving is being scheduled. The construction process has moved along well, and we've had good support through private partners throughout the project. Portage la Prairie Planning District has provided excellent support to our partners and PCRC during the build process. So over the coming months, as interior work progresses, Mary will be in touch to invite the mayor and council for a tour of the new build. And Mary encourages anybody with additional questions to please reach out and contact her by email.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions, comments? No? Looks great. Nice to see it coming along. Nice little addition over in that neighborhood for sure. Anything else, Councillor Espy?
Yeah, I got a couple more things. The next one is related to the Community Services Committee. I would like to call upon Councillor Porter to give us a report on a few community events she attended over the weekend.
Thank you, Worship. Yes, I attended a few events that I attended on your behalf last weekend, and would like to mention one first of the Wings graduation ceremony was Friday at the 3 Canadian Forces Flying Training School at Southport. I was honored to give out the City of Portage la Prairie Award. That award went to Captain Tim Burgess of Ontario for displaying the highest degree of professionalism and officer quality in his graduating class. So Captain Tim Burgess, congratulations. I also attended the 20th anniversary of our Portage la Prairie Regional Library, and I just can tell you that this library is more than just a building with books. It's adapted and grown in the last few years, embracing new technologies and expanding its services to meet the ever-changing needs of its patrons. It is a truly welcoming place for all, and thank you, Jen, and your staff. And finally, I attended the Cruising of the Fort, hosted by our local vintage car cruisers. There were lots of beautiful cars on display, and it was very hard to pick and choose the Mayor's Choice Award. But Bob Chabala from Winnipeg won the Mayor's Choice for his 1968 Chevy Caprice wagon. It captured my heart, and congratulations, Bob. I really loved hearing your story. And that's my report.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Councillor Porter, because like I've said before, hardest job is the mayor choosing a car out of all those cars. So awesome. Thank you.
And finally, Your Worship, I just wanted to mention Simplot Central Park. You will notice if you drive by there, all the sod has been laid around the skate park. And thanks to the city, of course, for providing that sod. And I'd like to thank Messy to Construction for donating all of the topsoil that went underneath it.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. Waterworks Committee, Councillor Nichols.
Thank you, Your Worship. Waterworks Committee has nothing for committee at this time.
Thank you. Transportation Committee, Councillor Porter.
Transportation has nothing to report at this time. I just maybe would like a request from the administration just to give me an update as to what they're expecting in the next 2 weeks to happen down Saskatchewan Avenue. I see some on 20th, they're starting to work on the 20th Street Road from Saskatchewan Avenue to Portage, but that's to Crescent Road. But I'm more interested in the. It almost looks like we're getting ready to pave, or at least drop some asphalt down there.
Mr. Pito?
Through your worship to Councillor Porter, I will pass that on to our Director of Operations.
Hello. Yes, so we won't be paving in the next 2 weeks, but you're right, we are getting close. So they'll be working on that very last stretch for the excavation and getting the fill in there. So the paving will be coming soon because they'll want to pave that whole stretch from 20th Street all the way to 13th at the same time. So that will be coming soon. In the meantime, they're still working on landscaping and sidewalks. I think today they had asphalt down on the south side for the bike lanes. So just the bike lane asphalt, but not the roadways. And they've started moving traffic over to start doing the section from 20th Street out to the rail tracks. So that will be the next order of business as they're coming along. So yeah, we're going to see lots of action in the next month or so.
Okay, thank you for that because it's looking great down there. And yeah, it's like, so the 20th to 13th Street is going to be done all at once, and that's going to make a huge difference. So, and we're looking at that in the next couple weeks, at least.
They'll have the excavation of that done, and most of the gravel will be in, but not the paving quite yet.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Pito?
Just an additional comment, you'll notice that when you're on Saskatchewan Avenue, the businesses to the south in the area you're talking about look like they're not accessible. But I will say if you are going down Crescent, there's lots of great signage put up, and they can tell you which street to how you can access those businesses on Saskatchewan Avenue. A lot of them are still open, and they're on the south side, so please look to that if you're looking to support those businesses.
Thank you. I do recognize that. I've seen all the signs on the Crescent Road, and it's sure appreciated.
Just a comment on that. I think that the new benches look great too. And I was counting today in my travels, and I saw in about a 2-hour period, I saw 4 different people utilizing the benches. So that was very exciting. Can I just ask a question to Councillor Porter? If you know, I was in an elementary school the other day and a high school today of students who don't have driver's licenses but want to know if we're going to pave the Crescent this year. So obviously their families are talking about it. So can we maybe get an update on that?
Oh, yeah. Jocelyn?
Absolutely. So I don't have my staff might have a schedule from Maple Leaf on that work, but I haven't seen it yet. But the contract has been awarded. I'm thinking they probably will want to be doing the paving of our other streets at the same time as they're coming out for the Saskatchewan Avenue. They'll probably bang it all out at the same time. So that's what I'm thinking is probably going to happen.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good news.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good news.
Anything else? Okay. Public Safety Committee, Councillor Doyle.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a couple things this evening. First of all, this Wednesday, right across the street here, tucked in the corner in beside Red Apple, is our community safety officer's office, and they will be hosting a free community barbecue from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Come out, meet our CSOs, learn about what they do, and grab some free lunch. So the Portage Citizens on Patrol program and the Bear Clan program will also be there accepting donations. So 2-hour window, come on in, have a free barbecue, bring a little money for donations for these two excellent programs if you're able, and we will see you on Wednesday for that. The other thing I have is the Community Safety and Wellbeing Survey. So we have been working for just over a year now, I believe, on the Community Safety and Wellbeing program within our city. So we are at the community engagement portion of the program planning, and what we are asking is for everybody who is able to. It's a bit of a longer survey. It's about 15 to 20 minutes, and I know we've all done a lot of surveys lately, and we're just asking you to please do one more for us. And what we're asking for is just some answers to some pretty generic questions. They don't get into too much detail, as everything remains anonymous. So we want young, old, from every corner of our city, visitors to our city. You do not have to live here in order to take this survey. We just want to get a grasp on what people's overall opinion is of safety and well-being within our community. And I know that community safety is always top of mind for people. So this is your chance to engage with us so we can take your concerns and put them into our program here. So our city's website has the link to the survey. We will have posters up around town that have the QR code if you want to scan it with your phone and do it that way. Or paper copies will also be available at the PCRC building and here at City Hall if you wanted old school paper copy.
Thank you. Is there an incentive?
Well, let me tell you, we want as many people as possible to fill out this survey. So at the end of the survey, if you choose to provide an email address, you will be entered to win one of 5 $50 gift cards to local businesses here in Portage. And I just want to note that because you are because you are providing your email address, this still remains 100% anonymous. Before you get taken to the page where you would provide your email address in order to win the gift card, the survey has already been closed at that point. So all of your answers are not tied to your email address.
Excellent. Just on a note on that is that there's a number of communities in our province that are doing community safety and well-being plans, and on a little bit of competitive nature is that we want to fill out more surveys than any of those other communities. So the more people, and it's not per household, it can be if there's 5 people in your household, all 5 of you can fill it out. We want to get as much information as possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. That ends my report.
Awesome. Thank you. Just if there's nothing else, just before we close, I just have a comment to make that welcome back to my colleagues who attended FCM the last few days, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities conference. I received comments and emails and texts from many of my colleagues, our colleagues, about your behavior, and you all behave very well. So I'm happy to report that. But on the highest note is our Councillor Massey, who has been sitting on the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Board of Directors as a director representing Manitoba, was up for re-election again, and he won his seat there with, blew them out of the water. So we're really proud to have him sit there and represent our community. And I, for one, feel in my time, the last 6 years on council, I feel the most informed, engaged about FCM than I ever have. And that's because of your updates that you provide to us. So we appreciate your time and effort of doing that. And congratulations, Councillor Massey. No, just kidding. Yes.
Thank you, Your Worship, and just a big thank you to Mayor Knox, my colleagues on around the table. You know, you go on this journey on these boards, and when you feel the support behind you, and you may be doing well with the voters, but you feel your own council behind you. It is so touching, and so thank you. We have a big year. We have a potential federal election coming, so I hope to continue keeping you up to date on the big issues coming forward. So, but thank you for all your support. It means a lot.
Thank you. Councillor Doyle?
Excuse me, if I can just add one thing as well. This year's FCM conference was a lot different for me than last year's because I have no problem walking into a middle of a group of strangers and introducing myself and carrying on with conversations, whether they want me there or not. So, but it was actually very surprising for me to hear about how many people from all across this country, east to west, have a Portage connection. We were talking with Mayor Gondek from the city of Calgary, and she lived in Portage once upon a time, right behind La Vérendrye School. She listed off a couple of her teachers, and so I just thought that was pretty neat. And I actually did talk to one person from New Westminster, BC, who asked us about our CSO program that she was reading about. So, which is, I mean, just outside of Vancouver. I'm not sure exactly how she heard about it, but I just told her, you're talking to the right guy. So
That's excellent.
no,
Good
we
to
really
hear.
enjoyed ourselves. Made some meaningful connections for sure.
Great, great. Nothing else, we'll adjourn committee at 6:52 p.m. Thank you, everyone.